It's time for the World Baseball Classic and a little bit of NFL stuff. Diamond Diehards is on. Joe Rizzo here bringing you baseball along with the dog, Jeff Healy, and some technology that doesn't want to cooperate right at the most inopportune time. We are hopefully live. I'm thinking that we probably are, but
ish.
So we're going to cover a few things. We're going to try to break in and delve a little bit into the World Baseball Classic. And there's a bunch of stuff happening in the NFL on this day, the 7th of March in 2023. So we'll cover a little bit of that for you. This is Joe Rizzo over here, and the dog, Jeff Healy. You can follow us on Twitter at Diamond Diehards, or pretty much anywhere on social media at Diamond Diehards. And if you want to follow the dog, Twitter is the place, twitter.com/Jeff Healy 8. That's the number 8. We need you to subscribe to the show, no matter where you're consuming it from. If it's YouTube, hit that subscribe button for us. If it's Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please do so as well. And of course, if you are on the Facebook group and you are checking out the live stream now, then we appreciate that you've done that. And if you haven't subscribed or become a member of that group, we're running a special. It's free from now until the end of time. So don't forget to jump in on that. All right, dog. Who is going to win the World Baseball Classic?
I don't know, but first I'm going to do a shout out to our super fan Janice, who before he could even finish the description of us being live on Facebook, already gave us a like. So good job, Janice.
Really?
Good job,
really?
Janice Murphy. Yes. Good job out there. Good job out there. I think I gotta go Puerto Rico.
You're going Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Oh, really?
Puerto Rico.
I guess I could say, gee, dog, I wonder why you're going with Puerto Rico. But I think that what we're going to do is, instead of wondering why, we are going to we'll dissect the rosters maybe and see like if we can sort of find out the why there. How does that sound?
Okay.
Why don't we just go right to the Puerto Rico roster?
Okay.
As I pick, I'm going to pick Venezuela. So we'll do Puerto Rico and Venezuela. So let's just fire right past the pitchers, because that's too much of a pain in the ass. But the catchers, Martin Maldonado, MJ Melendez, and Christian Vasquez, all of those guys are like guys that you'd want on your team for sure. And a lot of it, if you have catching, you kind of have a chance. And if you don't have catching, I feel like you don't have a chance. And they have like a lot of catching. What I also think is funny is
a lot of chances.
Yeah. I think it's also funny that there's, you see these things in all the different sports, but, when guys are playing for a certain country and they're born in different countries, I think it's always funny. Nothing's really going to be funny for Puerto Rico. You feel like there's so many players from Puerto Rico that they wouldn't have any from like anywhere else, but like they have a bunch of guys from the US. So that's not really that much of a stretch. But the infielders are Javi Baez, Edwin Diaz, not that one. And Kike Hernandez, Francisco Lindor, Vimael Machine.
La Machine.
Emmanuel Rivera and Neftali Soto. So, I mean, we don't have to go over like every single one of the names that you don't really know, but like in the outfield, Nelson Vasquez, Eddie Rosario, Henry Ramos, and John Shui Fargas. So I feel like they're a little like, if there are holes in the outfield. Yadi Molina is the coach though. How is he not player coach? Like, how is he not catching?
He can't make it. He's got too many catches already.
The assistant hitting coach is Juan Gonzalez. Jose Molina is the first base coach. So they're pretty stacked. Now, I guess, Dog, we could check out the pictures. We got to just kind of go through and see the big names. Jose Berrios, Alex Claudio, Jose De Leon, not that one. Alexis Diaz and Edwin Diaz, the brothers Diaz. So, you got some juice coming out of the bullpen right there. So if they have a lead, they have the Diaz brothers to try to slam the door. Emilio Pagan, Hector Santiago, Marcus Stroman pitches for Puerto Rico. So there's one that you look at the name and you're like, oh, well, and he was born in the USA, but he pitches for Puerto Rico. So they're definitely solid, but a lot of it really depends on how much
Lindor
comes
and
down to
Baez
the
going crazy, right? Yeah.
yeah, kind of, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. And if they decide to field really well, they can make up a lot. All right, Dog, Venezuela.
Hold on a second. Let me get to there. Since I can't have all the stuff up this time. Since my laptop is freaking out.
So we talk
One at a
about
time.
catchers, right? Robinson Chirinos, the ageless one. Omar Narvaez and Salvador Perez. So that's a pretty good start, right?
That is true.
On the infield, American League batting champ Luis Arias, who's not in the American League anymore, but Jose Altuve, Andres Jimenez. Should I keep going? Luis Rengifo, who the guy from the Angels that I love. Eugenio Suarez, Gleyber Torres, and Hernan Perez. They're freaking loaded.
That Miguel Rojas wouldn't get to play.
Okay. So those are their listed infielders. Their outfielders are David Peralta, Anthony Santander, and this kid, Ronald Acuna Jr. They also have a designated hitter, and that man is a little, he's got a little bit of experience, and his name, Dog, is Miguel Cabrera. Do you like my Venezuela pick so far?
Yeah, it is looking pretty strong.
Okay. And then you get into the pitchers, and that's where it really is so they got a few guys in the infield there that could also play the outfield. Like we know, if you're following the Mets, you know that Eduardo Escobar, you'll see him out in left field at some point, probably even during your Mets season. And he's capable out there, even if he hasn't played it that much. So if you're watching the pitchers, I still think their pitchers are better than Puerto Rico too. Jose Alvarado, Jules Chassin, Edwin Escobar, Luis Garcia, Carlos Hernandez, Darwinson Hernandez, Eliezer Hernandez. I'm just naming all the Hernandezes at that point. Pablo Lopez, Jesus Luzardo, Martin Perez, Eduardo Rodriguez, Jose Ruiz, Reinhard Suarez. So I kind of like them a little bit more at the front. And I mean, Puerto Rico.
I'm not digging the Philly pen.
Yeah.
Get back to haunt them again.
That's a good point. But I think Venezuela stealth. I don't think a lot of people are talking about them, and I think they have a really great chance in this thing. Dog, you want to do the US?
Sure. 1 sec. Let me catch up here.
There is a little pull down menu on the top there that could.
Oh, yes. I'm going click here, which is kind of annoying.
Head of a job on that.
You start talking while I go find the stupid thing. Mexico. Here we go. TDS. All right. Roster breakdown. There we go. I should use your click. I had my own click. It's not working as well. All right.
Okay.
4 MVPs. That doesn't hurt. All right,
So-
we right now? What are we doing?
Still waiting? You still?
I'm yes, pulling it up.
Yeah. Catchers. Go with the theme.
Higgy, Riamonto, and Will Smith.
Okay, so that means you got a chance,
Not too
right?
shabby.
Not shabby.
Yeah, shabby. Guy in first to recognize. The Polar Bear. Polar Bear, Arenado, Goldschmidt, guy named Trey Turner, Bobby Witt, and Tim Anderson from the White Sox.
So you have like you got to determine, I guess, like who's going to start. I guess you figure that Alonso is probably going to be the DH. Arenado will play third. Probably, I guess Trey Turner will play second, and Tim Anderson will play short. And then Bobby Witt Jr. will just go he'll pinch run or whatever. I don't know. You could just use him as a weapon somehow, but he could play third. He could play short. He didn't play either particularly well last.
Oh, you know what? And
year,
yeah, actually, and the way they list is kind of goofy for MLB. And you got McNeil. McNeil will play second.
Well, but then look at the outfield. Maybe he's going to play the outfield too. I don't know. I mean, I kind of thought the same thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, they're listing McNeil as an outfielder, but I kind of see him maybe more as an infielder. But
Yeah, because they were talking about McNeil's only just sort of like true second baseman. Actually, Betts was actually taking ground balls at second because he wants to show the Dodgers he still can.
Well, he's was talking about that when he first said last year that he was going to play for the U.S. in the World Baseball Classic. He did talk about how he wanted to play second base, but we'll see what happens because of that outfield. Look at that outfield. Oh my God.
That is sick.
You got to give the names, Dawg, because otherwise people don't know it.
All right, well, I didn't know you were going to say it.
You're doing the USA. I'm waiting for you.
I'm off my game right now. A 2-hour commute in today. Give me a break.
Oh wow.
All right, so we got Mookie Betts. It's obviously ridiculous there. Again, they got McNeil listed there, so he could potentially be out left. He'll probably be playing second though. Cedric Mullins, great player for the Orioles. Schwarber, gone from the Phillies. Guy named Mike Trout, so you might see him occasionally from the Angels. Kyle Tucker from the Astros.
That's, I mean, no matter how that lines up, I guess you figure.
No wonder Betts is playing second.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Betts plays second. I mean, either way, I don't know. I would probably. Well, I guess you could play Tucker or Betson, right? You play Trout in center, and then you just play Mullins in left, or
maybe DH Schwarber.
Yeah, he's
probably ready to go, right?
DH,
You probably have Alonso play first.
Well, yeah, but you're going to play him. He's going to play first over the National League MVP, Paul Goldschmidt. That's a tough call, right?
Yeah, that is true.
Where are you going to put or maybe these are lefty righty guys. There's going to be some incredible players sitting on the bench for the US. That might not be a good thing though. That's as we decide to look at their pitching staff, which is where this is the reason why I didn't pick them, by the way. So go ahead, Dawg. Go ahead.
Hold on. All right. I'm now in between here. Shoot. All right, so rotation, we got Lance Lynn. I don't know. I was just clicking your click over there. All right, so we got Lance Lynn, Adam Wainwright, the ageless, Kershaw.
Gone. He's gone.
Oh, he's done? All right.
Did you click that link that I gave you?
I was just doing that and you started yelling at me.
Oh.
It's all MLB though. It's all the same source.
Yeah, but I like it when we're looking at the same thing.
I know, and I was doing that, and then you said, "Look at the pictures."
No, you just scroll up to the top.
I know. This one's a much better. I had a bad link. All right. Got here. All right, Jason Adam, Daniel Bard. The hell do I have these guys?
That's my point.
David Bednar, Kyle Freeland, Kendall Graveman, Merrill Kelly, Lance Lynn, right there we go. Nick Martinez
from Fordham.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about him. That's right. Good call. Shout out there. Adam Ottavino. Okay. Ryan Presley. Good. Brooks Rowley. Brady Singer, Adam Wainwright, Devin Williams. Yeah, you're right. We got problems here.
Yeah. Well, and you got your lefty righty Met duo there, and Ottavino and Raleigh.
True. but against like the all-star teams they're going up against, that's
And
it's
you
a little,
got
it's a little light.
and you
we
got
get
Devin Williams, to close your
Yeah.
games for you. So you'll see. But I like the lineup is they could
lineup's
win
sick,
just
but
on the
yeah,
lineup.
the pitching
Right.
is not quite there.
All right. Now, of course, everybody who's watching is like, what about the Dominican Republic? They're the favorite. All right. So we'll do that. First, as always, the catching. And here's why I did not pick the Dominican Republic. Because Francisco Mejia and Gary Sanchez are their catchers. So nothing against those guys, but I mean, basically, if they're faded, like Francisco Mejia is a switch hitter who usually hits righties, like not at all. And Gary Sanchez, God knows what you're going to get. Right. And he's not good defensively. He's like a defensive liability. But then you get to like around the diamond and you're like, well, who cares about the catchers? It's like Willie Adames, like, is he even going to play? I mean, Jamer Candelario, Robinson Cano is on the team, Dawg. Robinson
saw that.
Cano. But then you got Devers, Wander Franco, Manny Machado, Ketel Marte, Jeremy Pena, and Gene Segura. Like, but you can't. They're all like it's a laundry list of awesomeness. But the problem is you can't play all of them. Like, what do you do with third? Devers or Manny Machado? Like, Manny Machado is going to be like, you're going to play Devers at third base over me? Really?
Let's say I think we know the
Really?
answer to that one.
Like, he could go play first. Do we have anybody to play first? He could go play first. I'm not.
You catch the ball when I throw it.
I'm the one who needs to play first, right? Like, and then like, what are you doing at short? You have Jeremy Pena, who's like the rookie, sensation of the world who nobody heard of. And you have Wander Franco, who's like the first guy since Evan Longoria. He's like so good that he's the first guy since Evan Longoria to get paid by the Rays as your shortstop. So like, which one of those guys is going to move off short? And then it's like, free for all for the other positions. I mean, Marte, you'd figure would be at second, but you can't play all of them. So what are you going to do? The outfield, Teoscar Hernandez, Eloy Jimenez, J-Rod, and Juan Soto. So, okay, one of them is going to DH. Well, then what about like Nelson Cruz, who's listed as DH? And what about like all those extra bats in the infield? So they have an embarrassment of riches, but it's like Dawg. It's like that thing. It kind of reminds me of like when the Giants still had Eli Manning, and they took their 6th pick of the draft that year. They had 2 picks in the first round, and they took Daniel Jones. And it's like, well, what's the point of having Eli Manning if you're using your first round pick on a quarterback? You can't play both guys. Like, and that's the most valuable thing that you have. Like, the most valuable thing that you could add to your team is this whoever you're going to get with the 6th pick in the draft. So if you're going to take the quarterback, why is the other quarterback on your team? Like, don't like get rid of him and like use the money. But the Dominican has like their own version of that problem. They got like too many guys and not enough positions. But the rotation, when you started with Sandy Alcantara, that's a pretty good start. And then you got guys like Johnny Cueto, Luis Garcia, Christian Javier, and like the bullpen. See, this is where they look like possibly they have the biggest advantage is the bullpen. Without like going through and naming every single guy, Camilo Doval, Yimi Garcia, Rafael Montero, Hector Neris, Joel Payamps, and Gregory Soto. Like, like if that was a major league bullpen, that would probably be the best bullpen in the major leagues.
That's true. It's funny. This actually reminds me of our old strat teams. Like, you got like just enough guys that like everyone's all condensed down. So like everyone's like awesome on it. So you know, like a top 8 or 10, whatever. So,
yeah, that's a pretty sick team. But I think in the end, there's just like I just feel like there's a few holes there, like that they have too many good guys, all kind of at the same infield spots. And they're carrying a DH. It helps them actually if like Nelson Cruz sort of like doesn't, if he kind of no shows or if he's not really
Yeah,
hitting.
you figure he's probably only come in a couple games, right? I would
I
be
don't know.
surprised if he plays a ton.
Would you though? I mean, like but he also could get, scorching hot and like,
Hmm.
but it's like
He is
that's the kind of
42.
yeah. Well,
He is DHing.
he's
still.
DHing it. He's a professional hitter, Dawg. He's a professional hitter. All right. Some of the fun ones on here, like we
Cuba?
could talk about Cuba,
Yeah,
but like
Cuba's
you don't know, but like
most of these guys.
there's like two names that you're gonna know.
Yeah.
How about Japan?
Okay.
Okay, we'll go to Japan. So we'll just go down on the guys whose names you know. Yu Darvish. I guess Yuki Matsui, maybe you know who he is. Not much in terms of the pitching that except for if you want to consider Otani to be a pitcher. I don't know if he's going to pitch. I guess he's going to pitch.
Two-way player. There you go.
Yeah.
He's listed.
Yeah, he's listed as two-way players. That's pretty cool. So here's the thing, like I don't know anything about Takuya Kai, Yui Nakamura, and Takumi Oshiro. Those are their catchers. One of them bats lefty though, so I mean that's pretty good. And they're all in their 30s. So that's interesting.
They got Masato Yoshi as a pitching coach. There you go.
Yeah, there's not much in the infield that you'd know. Tetsudo Yamada, maybe. Lars Nootbaar. He's in the Japanese outfield from the Cardinals. And Masataka Yoshida. So that's one you probably know. Yeah, who did you say was the
Masato Yoshi? He was the
Yoshi.
ex-Met guy, but he's like a lunatic over there. He's like hilarious now.
He was when
he's like a whole. I think it's like a whole nother level now. He's like a media personality now.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
How come Mr. Zero Shingo Takatsu is not like the pitching coach or something? Like they should be the assistant pitching coach. So not as many on the Japanese roster that I was kind of hoping for more on that, Dawg.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest with you. How about
they said they're supposed to be a really good pitcher beyond Otani. So that people were looking to highlight, and supposed to have a really good hitter as well. I did not catch her name, so.
Yeah, it's all right.
So,
Colombia, Dawg. How about Colombia? What do you think about Colombia?
Let me take a peek here.
Now, I think the thing about Colombia is that generally speaking, like as a rule of thumb, their female fans are the worst looking. Said nobody ever.
I was like, what?
I'm just gonna flip down through here and see if like there's names that people would recognize as we continue.
Julio Teheran.
Julio Teheran, that's a good one.
Anything else we got here?
Wow, the pitching is not good for
that's about it.
Now look at how many catchers they have though. Jorge Alfaro, Gustavo Campero, Elias Diaz, Jonathan Solano, and Mibris Valoria. So they have like 5 catchers. So that's gonna be some wins, just because they have 5 catchers. All right, infield. Okay, there's some names: Jordan Diaz, Dilson Herrera, Evan Mendoza, Ronaldo Rodriguez, Adrian Sanchez, and Gio Urshela. I'm wondering if Gio is going to be their shortstop. A little thin on the outfield. The one guy you don't know is Jesus Mariaga, but the other 2 outfielders are Oscar Mercado and Harold Ramirez. So not great defensively in the outfield, but they got some guys who can mash. Holbert Cabrera, who played every position in the majors, is the manager. That's kind of cool. And let's see if they have anybody else. Edgar Renteria is in his coach, and Orlando Cabrera is as well. So their best
their depth on the bench.
Their best shortstops are on the coaching staff. That might present a problem, guys. Australia, Dawg. Australia.
All right. I was gonna go Italy, but okay, we'll go Australia.
Okay. This is for Kate
There we go. That's true.
and NYY.
One of our super fans.
Yeah. Tim Atherton, he's there. John Kennedy. Let's see.
The other one.
Warwick Saupold. That's a name that like it.
That is a good name.
Todd Van
Jack O'Loughlin. There we go.
The catchers. Robbie Perkins, Jordan McCardle, Alex Hall, and Ryan Battaglia. So they have 4 catchers. So I like their chances. Just bring in numbers on catchers. Infielders, nobody that you're gonna probably know. Logan Wade, not related to Tyler Wade. Tim Kennelly and Aaron Whitefield. The manager is Dave Nielsen, though.
There you go.
A mashing left-handed hitting catcher. So if he's, that's probably good. He's
Graham Lloyd. Got your boy Graham Lloyd on there.
Graham Lloyd, bullpen coach.
There you go.
All right, so that's got to be a couple of wins for Australia, I'd say. How about Canada? We'll go Canada. We'll go alphabetical order for the ones that we're gonna do at this point.
Sure,
okay, so there's gonna be a lot more names here. Andrew Albers, Philippe Aumont, John Axford still hanging around. Matt Brash. Let's see. We'll skip a couple. Adam Lowen, Scott Mathiasen, Cal Quantrill. Okay, that's a nice little name there on the staff. Kate Smith, Curtis Taylor, Rob Zastrinsky rounds out the pitchers. The catchers, Bo Naylor as a catcher. Oh boy. And Kellen Deglin. Yeah, they're in trouble. I don't like the catching. The infielders, though, at first base, Freddie Freeman.
Off to a good start there.
Now, how Freddie Freeman is Canadian, I don't really know.
Yeah, that's a stretch.
But I guess he didn't have to beat out. He didn't have to worry about beating out Pete Alonso and Paul Goldschmidt, I guess.
Chased him up there.
Because the question is, would he have beaten them out? I kind of feel like if I was picking among those 3, that Freddie Freeman would probably be no worse than the second pick. But I don't really know.
That's a toughie.
It's a toughie, right?
Depends what you're looking for, right? So
I mean,
all around, probably if you're looking for more pop, you go Alonso, but
he's got the left-handed
all
bat.
around in the fielding, yeah.
A little better defensively, right? Let's see. Anybody else? Abraham Toro. He hasn't panned out as much as I thought he would. I thought he was going to be really good. He's still not that old, but I had big hopes for him. I think he's on the Brewers now. Jared Young. In the outfield, Tyler O'Neill.
O'Neill, that's about it.
I didn't realize that he was Canadian. Denzel Clark, Jacob Robson. Now, wait a minute, Doc. Oh, hold on. I gotta go back to the pitchers here.
Okay.
I gotta go back to the pitchers. You mean to tell me that there are, what are there, 15 pitchers on this list? You mean to tell me Calvin Ziegler's not one of the top pitchers on this team in Canada? What am I missing?
Yeah, that's a great call.
What am I missing, Dawg? Calvin Ziegler! How do you not have him there?
That's absurd. That would have been a great call out.
Ernie Witt's the manager. If he's picking the team, it's Ernie shit. Come on. You can't not have Calvin Ziegler on there. And the Met fans are like, wait, who's Calvin Ziegler? I remember that name. You're going to remember that name. He's your most pitching prospect. When all your pitchers are 46, he's going to be saving your bacon.
That is true. It's coming along.
Friend of the show.
I think he was a little banged up right for the end of the year. So I don't know, maybe a health thing. I think he came back and was throwing. So I think it was okay by the end, but maybe they want to play it safe for them at the WBC.
Don't ruin good radio, Dog.
Don't confuse us with those facts and things.
The coaching staff is awesome, though.
Exactly. Russell Martin,
Denny Boucher, the pitching coach.
Larry Walker
is the first
base
coach.
Canadian hero. Larry's fantastic.
Tim Leeper at third. Paul Quantrill, the bullpen coach. So he gets to coach his son. and Russell Martin is just listed as a coach. Yeah, that's it. So
That's pretty solid. Can't go wrong there.
their best catcher is a coach, but that's okay too. China, I'm not doing China.
We got China. We got Chinese Taipei listed.
Chinese
Oh,
Taipei. Okay.
Really? Oh, really? That
Okay.
could be a whole separate issue on there.
Wait a minute. I'm looking at these names, Dawg, on Chinese Taipei.
MLB doesn't have the balls to call it Taiwan. How about that?
Well, they have it.
that.
They're calling it Taiwan and the birth country.
Yeah, that's somebody screwing up somewhere. I don't know. So there's something going on here.
Dawg, this roster for Chinese Taipei is unbelievable. This is the same roster that they sent to the Little League World Series this year.
England is 6'4",
I thought some of those kids looked too old. We've been saying it for years.
Oh man.
They were the ones that did that, right? Like they had these roster. They had like 17-year-olds.
So I can't swear.
And they got like 5 championships vacated because they were sending men to play against boys. It was not good. Okay. Click on the Czech Republic, Dawg, because I'm going to show you something that's cool. Okay. Let me know when you're there.
I'm there.
Okay. Look at the column most to the right and just do a quick scroll. Quick scroll all the way up and down.
Okay.
Just looking at the column on the right. What do you notice?
There's a Czechoslovakia there. Also Czech Republic, a couple US guys there.
But it's almost all Czech Republic, right?
Yeah. Which is pretty impressive.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that jumped off the page. So they're taking it, to the point where like they have like literally like pretty much no names that you know. I mean, there's like none. And these guys are almost all from Czech Republic.
I do want to know how this one guy got listed as Czechoslovakia, though, born in 1992. Like everyone else is like Czech Republic, like born like before and after him.
Well, there's a Czechoslovakia in 92, and he was born May 11th, 92. Matic.
Were they still? Maybe they're still Czechoslovakia then.
No, but there's a guy who was born Arnos Dubovi, just a few above. He was born
in 89.
March
Czech Republic.
March 1st, and he was Czech Republic. So maybe he just listed as Czechoslovakia. I don't know. What did it?
Now we gotta look it up.
Dawg's gonna do that. I'll keep going through. So that to me, that was very impressive to see that Czech Republic really is like taking it seriously. Like Eric Sogard is on the team. He's like the only guy that and he was born in the US, but basically everybody else is from the Czech Republic. It's baseball. I mean, who knew that they even played baseball in Czech Republic, right? Like then you go to Great Britain, as Dawg looks up.
All right. So we got December 31st, 1992. Czechoslovakia peacefully split into 2 sovereign states of the Czech Republic and Slovakia. Not Slovenia, Slovakia.
And we do know this, by the way. We know this from Twitter. Our pal, world traveler Mike Sappho, who probably will be joining us on shows in the future.
Looking forward to it. Always fun.
Very recently was in Slovakia among like 8 other countries on a recent trip. And I did ask him, I said, can you please confirm that they serve souvlaki in Slovakia? And he said, yes, in fact, they do. He did confirm that. So
there you go.
Okay.
Very cool.
There are Greeks now in Slovakia. Okay. Dawg, we go to Great Britain and now we do the same exercise and it's mostly like USA. There's a few UK guys there, but then there's also like, there's a US Virgin Islands instead of a British Virgin Islands, right? Like
there's more of a Commonwealth approach to this.
Yeah, there's a Bahamas, right? Yep. There's a Canada. That's not that unusual, right? For British athletes, who go under the British flag to even be from Canada because
you must have 20 pictures on this thing.
Bahamas. Like a lot from the Bahamas. So that's kind of interesting. I didn't really look to see if there was anybody. Trace Thompson from the Dodgers is representing Great Britain. Now, I'm not sure how that happened, but his brother is Klay Thompson from the Warriors, the other Splash brother. And their dad is Michael Thompson, who played for the Lakers championship teams, the Showtime Lakers. So maybe at some point, Michael Thompson was involved in England. Maybe his wife is British.
I don't know.
That would kind of explain it. Let's see. They have they have two catchers,
Morris.
Ural Forbes and Harry Ford. Those are the catchers. And they have three infielders, BJ Murray, Nick Ward, and Justin Wiley. And they have like 26 outfielders. So some of the outfielders are gonna have to play infield.
They've got to have like 20 pitchers on here though.
Yeah. All of their outfielders throw right-handed. And all of their three infielders throw right-handed. So they have all right-handed guys. So somebody can play the infield. Like they'll have somebody there. There's like Ian Jabot, maybe that's like one name you might know. I don't know. It's really a reach.
Vance Worley was the only guy I could think of. Pitcher.
Andre Scrub. I like that. You know when he's pitching. 7th inning, down 11-0. Scrub time.
Gil Morris.
Oh, Alex Webb. Alex Webb is on the team. Okay, and you
yes.
said Vance Worley. Alex Webb. Okay, so Alex Webb running the show for Great Britain. All right, so this is like Israel. We're just going in alphabetical order for whatever.
Are we going to do every country?
Well, we didn't do.
I was promised a quick hit.
There's some gifts. So
Israel,
Richard Blyer. Okay, Richard Blyer for Israel.
Okay.
Jake Fishman.
First country, all you.
Andrew Gross. Jay Kalish, Rob Kaminsky, Alex Katz, Adam Kolarek. That's a name, you know.
Kaminsky.
Dean Kramer. Shlomo Lepetz. That's the best name so far that we've read. Gotta love it. I always wanted.
He's the only guy from Israel, actually.
Is he? Oh wow. I always wanted to have a friend named Shlomo. I like that name. I remember there was a really good tennis player I used to root for. His name was Shlomo Glickstein.
That's like the Israeli version of Keegan.
Yeah.
You've got full ethnic.
Let's see. Catchers: Jacob Goldfarb, Ryan Lavarnway. Okay, there's one, and Garrett Stubbs. So their catching is not bad. Ty Kelly. Okay, he's one. Speedy Ty Kelly.
Mr. Met.
Danny Valencia. I think he's retired from the majors.
84, yeah.
Like 39. So he's in there. Danny V. Alex Dickerson and Jock Peterson are the outfielders. So
that's it.
So
Lane
one
two.
of the infielders play outfield. That's not a big deal. Those guys could, jump in. Ian Kinsler's the manager, and Brad Osmus is the bench coach.
And Euclid.
And Jerry Narron is a bench coach. Euclid. Wow. All right.
They must hook these guys up for being on the coaching staff. They get a lot of guys. Yeah, they get a lot of guys.
Well, I think it's cool to be able to. Okay.
Well, prestige too.
No coaching staff has more juice than Italia. Headed by Mike Piazza.
Exactly.
I mean, there's Kristen Orfia is the third base coach.
Plus, he actually lives in Italy. So.
I know. Kristen Orfia is the third base coach / hitting coach. Jason Simataki is the bullpen coach.
Joshu.
Okay. Catchers for Italy.
Joshu, not
trained by and honed by the great Mike Piazza. Vito Friscia, Alberto Mineo, Dominic Mirolio, and Brett Sullivan.
Snuck in.
Brett Sullivan.
How do you get on in Italy?
Brett Sullivan's mom is definitely like,
That's true. We do have the Irish Italian cross. So.
Valentina Gambini is his mom, or something like that. I'm allowed to make the jokes. You're not. Fuck you, Healy. I'm allowed to make the Italian jokes. You got to keep your mouth shut. Okay, so again, you look at the birth country, and it's a lot of USA's. Joe Biagini, he's on the pitching staff. Thiago da Silva, who sounds like he should be in the UFC, is from Brazil, but he's on the Italian pitching staff. So that's a great one. Matt Festa, it's always a party when Matt Festa comes in, usually for the hitters. Matt Harvey, you talked about him before. Matt Harvey is on the Italian national team, pitchers.
There you go. I kind of figured, was he on the last WBC?
He probably was.
I think he was. I'm having flashbacks to that. I think he was on Team Italy then too.
So is he. He could have been hurt though. Actually, during that time, he could have been.
Might have been two. But might have been two back.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was two back.
Yeah. So his mom also must be Valentina Gambini. Let's see. They got a lot of pitchers too.
Yeah.
It's nobody that you've heard of. But they have a Venezuelan guy, Michele Vasolati. So there you go. Stephen Woods Jr. is on the Italian national team, and he's from the USA. The infielders. This one threw me for a loop too. David Fletcher. All right, Fletch. I didn't know you were Italian, buddy, but now you know.
There you go.
Robel Garcia, as of course my monitor craps out on me again. Great. Thanks, guys. Nicky Lopez. I didn't realize he was eligible for the Italian national team, as his teammate Vinny Pasquantino, both born in the USA. So a couple of good Royals over there. And in the outfield, nobody worth mentioning, but there you go. That's your Italian national team.
Oh yes, he had a great Pasquantino had a great nickname. What was it?
I think it was shut up your face. Yeah, no, it was on. It was
something good. I can't remember now. No, I'll butcher it. We'll have to Rizzo put it in the show notes.
Kingdom of the Netherlands. Do we need to bother? I'll do.
Let's just see who's on it. There's probably someone funny who's on it.
Oh, you get some Curacao guys. Kenley Jansen, Jair Jurgens is on it. Let's see. Pedro Strop. Three catchers. Chadwick Trump. He's on there. Okay. He's a good catcher. Oh, Xander Bogaerts, Didi Gregorius, Richie Palacios, Jeremy Profar, Jonathan Scope, and Drelton Simmons. Wow. This team can field. So what do you do with Bogaerts and Simmons? Who gets moved? Come on, Simmons is a glove.
Yeah.
He's not worth putting at second. And who knows where the hell Bogaerts is going to play for the Padres, who have 8 shortstops.
Wants to feel comfortable.
Vladimir Valentin, Roger Bernardina. He's still floating around, 39.
Profar drops so far.
Oh, Urick's in Profar, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Hensley Bam Bam Mullins is the manager, and Bert Blyleven is the pitching coach.
Oh, that's awesome.
Eugene Kingsale is the first base coach. Andrew Jones, bench coach. Mike Harkey, the bullpen coach. Wow. Okay. The Kingdom of the Netherlands was definitely worth it.
Evert Jant Hoen. It's the quality control coach. I guarantee he has zero sense of humor. Don't lie to me. The numbers don't lie.
Yeah, but he just goes, I'm from Holland. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird?
Profar, you suck. Oh, he's just Dutch.
Korea. Kwon Yoon Kim is there on the pitching staff. I see. Hyun Jong Yang. I'm surprised there's not more recognizable names on
No, gosh, yeah.
Only 2 catchers, but one of them is Yuji Yang. So maybe
Kim.
He's like 90, isn't he? Their catchers are older than dirt. Ji Young Lee. Tommy Edman. That's right. He's their shortstop, or this, he's playing, I think, second, and Ha-Seong Kim is playing short. Byung-ho Park is there. He's still hanging around. Man, they got a lot of old guys. Some of those names I haven't. Park, geez, that guy had a troubled time when he was here, didn't he?
Yeah. Young-Soo Kim.
Hyun-Soo Kim. Kunwoo Park. There's a couple of outfielders that you might know. Anybody on the coaching staff? No Byung-Hyun Kim. That's who I was looking for. He's not there. Okay. Korea. Did Korea. Mexico. Oh, that's a bad job by me. Not doing Mexico earlier. They're not in the also rans, I don't think. Luis Cessa, Giovanni Gallegos. Oliver Perez, Dawg. Uncle Paul, are you on? I'm not watching the chat. I'm not watching the chat, but Oliver Perez, Uncle Paul's favorite. Maybe from all time. Roel Ramirez. Who else we got? Oh, Patrick Sandoval, Julio Urias, Jose Urquidy, and Taiwan Walker. So that's the thing I liked about Mexico. They have 4 potentially good starters and a closer. So they could be dangerous. Their catchers, Austin Barnes is one of their catchers. Alexis Wilson is their other one, but their catchers are good. Infielders, Joey Meneses, the guy who was just kind of plugged in Washington after they had nobody left, and he actually was hitting the crap out of the ball last year. Isaac Paredes, who also had a sick run in the middle of the summer for the Rays, hitting home runs. Rowdy Tellez coming off a career year. Luis Urias, a Gold Glover. So they have some players on this Mexico team. In the outfield, Randy Arozarena decided to play for Mexico and not Cuba. I thought that was interesting because there are Cuban players that are major leaguers, and there's no, defecting thing having to go on anymore. But I guess because Arozarena matriculated through Mexico, he's and glad to represent Mexico. Jaron Duran, hopefully if a ball's hit over his head, he runs after it. Alec Thomas, fast Alec Thomas, and Alex Verdugo. So they have some players there, right? Benji Gill is their manager. He's a Shigon guy. Vinny Castilla, bench coach. Elmer Descends, pitching coach. Tony Perez Chica, third base coach. So Mexico, they got a shot. I underrated them. All right, not many left here, Dawg. Nicaragua.
I was busy playing with the Diamond Dog.
Oh.
Nicaragua. She's a little needy.
Let's see. Jonathan Loaizaga. Okay, so they got Loaizaga over there. Erasmo Ramirez.
JC Ramirez.
This is like when we go through the strat cards. We go to the fucking strat ratings of everybody. Catchers.
If you're still listening to this, you are the resistance.
Oh, yeah. Catchers, Rodolfo Bone and Melvin Novoa. It could be Novoa. Let's see about the infielders. Anybody you know?
Nah, not really.
Not really. Outfielders, Isaac Bernard. I wonder if he's related to Marvin Bernard. Sammy Bermudez, Dwight Britton, and Norlande Valle, I should say. Anybody good on the coaching staff?
The coaching staff's a little light.
No.
You got me this one.
Somebody on the Nicaraguan coaching staff that you know. And
we're not getting 2 minutes back of life back.
I know. And we'll have David Lee Roth announce the last team. Panama. Jaime Barria. Javi Guerra. Matt Hardy. Okay, he sticks out like a sore thumb. Look at Justin Lawrence. His birthplace is Panama Canal Zone.
There you go.
Oh, that's worth rooting for.
Make some American citizens.
Back
then, 94, yeah, still. Before
maybe,
99.
yeah. Wow.
just like
Umberto.
John McCain.
Oh, what a call out. See, that's what Dawg brings to the show.
Yeah, I'm paying
I
attention.
could tell you this. You literally are not getting that fact anywhere else except this podcast. You might
That's true.
regret it, but you got it.
You won't forget it.
Umberto Mejia.
Here we go.
Okay. Catchers: Pedro Aguilar, Christian Bethancourt, and Carlos Sanchez. Okay. They're
I
catchers.
found one guy to get excited for, Riz.
Who is it?
Ruben Tejada.
Oh, has the leg healed after the cheap shot from
Hope so.
future Hall of Famer Chase Utley, as
Oh.
that one's gonna rub Met fans the wrong way when he's the next guy that gets in that is a beneficiary of the new rules.
Oh. We'll see about that.
Luis Castillo in the outfield. And Luis Ortiz is the manager. Anybody else on there? I mean, Mariano Rivera is out there where the team is, but he's not. I guess he's just being a baseball ambassador and not doing anything directly for the Panamanian club. All right, Dawg. So I like my Venezuela pick. Your Puerto Rico pick is a good one. I think that we're going off the charts. I will be rooting for the USA. I would like to see Italy do something. And I'm also rooting for the USA. We didn't talk about their manager, who is Mark DeRosa, who, like yours truly, and in due time, producer Xavier, a graduate of Bergen Catholic High School in Oradell, New Jersey.
There you go.
So
actually, the coaching staff's pretty sick here too for us here. You got Rigetti.
Yep, we didn't really go over that.
Rigetti, Pettit, Ken Griffey Jr., Ryan McCann, Jerry Emanuel. It's the bench coach.
Yeah, actually, we do have the sickest coaching staff.
That's pretty sick.
Lou Collier is the first base coach, and his son Cam was just a first-round draft pick of the Reds, right?
I think so.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Michael Young is the batting practice pitcher, a freaking Gold Glove second baseman. Yeah.
I don't know. I'll throw BP. Okay, throw BP.
Yeah, and if you get tired, who's going to throw it? Andy Pettit. Hey,
Rags.
Hey, Junior Griffey, could you throw batting practice? Yeah, that's a great. Yeah, we didn't do enough on the USA coaching staff. All right, Dawg, you want to do a little Giants, a little NFL?
Yeah, let's talk a little Danny Dollars.
All right. So yeah, our Giant fandom, I think, is kind of known. We'll do a little football here for a second. So there was this deadline earlier on this day, Tuesday, the 7th of March, 2023, where it has something to do with what they call the league year, right? It's like financial stuff. They have to make financial turns like they do, in like Dawg, you could explain how quarters work and financial, deadlines and things like that in the real world, maybe for a second. This is like, maybe we don't need that full explanation.
Yeah, but I might take us on a whole, but yeah, just sort of like it. You have to have a true up once a year, where like everyone sort of sets and kind of resets and everything. So it's kind of like the end of a fiscal year for a normal organization. In this case, they do it by the league year for the NFL, and that's kind of like after everything's done with the playoffs, Super Bowl, everything else like that. It's a natural time to sort of reset. So kind of like a retailer doing it in February after they finished all the after Christmas sales. So similar sort of situation on there. So they sort of reset it on that. And then because of the collective bargaining agreement, one of the things that the owners wanted was the ability to tag, I guess it was sort of sold as like, the most popular player or whatever else like that, or basically the toughest one to sign is what it's turned into from within that, so that they get to pick one, and then we don't have to get into each of the different types of tags and stuff, but basically it means that for all intents and purposes, you pretty much get to keep them on your team for another year. So, so the Giants were threatening Daniel Jones with that they would tag him, and you would get paid a total of $32 million a year, which is a decent amount, but not off the chart for for a quarterback, but it would all count against the cap this year, which would sort of hurt them. So it was a bit of an incentive for the Giants as well to not have to do that, or at least not to keep him on a cap with that, because that way they'd keep Jones, but they wouldn't be able to sign many other players,
including
Saquon.
right. So they
who is
signed
also a free
they
agent.
put the tag on Saquon Barkley, but they're going to continue to negotiate with him to see if they can come up with a long-term deal. I
Yeah.
believe the window of negotiation is open until July 17th.
Something like that.
So
it's likely. So yeah, so and for Saquon, it's actually it's funny for all the running back isn't valued and et cetera, et cetera. There were 6 players tagged and 3 of them were running backs, which I thought was kind of interesting. And that tag was only down at 10 million. So it's kind of funny for running backs that, pretty much the peak ones like Christian McCaffrey was pulling down like 16. Sort of next bracket down, let's say with Saquon, it's kind of that 12 to 14 range, and then 10 is it's actually a little bit cheap, frankly, within it. Which again, similar sort of makeup that it's 10, but it hits all in the same year for running back, which kind of is a little bit of incentive to get something done. But
look, you just kept your 2 most offensive, impactful players from the skill position standpoint by far, right? Like they literally have no receivers, and
they're franchise players.
Yeah, the tight end, the tight end wasn't a consequential position for them so much. Yes, they have some players now, a couple of players on the offensive line. They still need to improve that. The defense needs improvement as well, but you just kept your 2, not just on the field, but they're leaders in the locker room, they're leaders on the sidelines. And the fans, it's like one of those times where the fans for so many years under Dave Gettleman were just outraged at this day and the stuff that went down or didn't go down on this day. And then, they'd make a move like 2 months later and you'd be like, why, if you were going to make that move now, why wouldn't you have just done it the day before this day that we're on? When the league year turned, you could have saved $18 million on the Odell Beckham trade.
Yeah.
And probably maybe gotten more for him if you had traded him like at that time.
Yeah.
So
interesting, I think, on Jones. So I still haven't gone through all the contract details yet. Seems like he has $82 million guaranteed. The first 2 years, I think that's all the guaranteed money. So that I'm still waiting to see. I've only sort of seen snippets on that. Interesting wrinkle on that is if the Giants tagged Jones this year and tagged him again next year, so basically they couldn't come to an agreement, they kept wanting to hold on to him, they would have paid $72 million. So basically he's only quote unquote costing him an extra $10 million in the first 2 years in terms of guaranteed money over basically what would have had with him as tagging him. But in the way they can structure it, it's going to be much more cap friendly. So a la this year, he will probably, I'm going to guess he's only going to make 15 or something like 15 to 20 against the cap this year, which gives them all that extra money. So by him not being on the tag, gives them quote unquote $12 million to go sign somebody else. So that's sort of positive, and that's the positive for Daniel Jones as well, is that now he has there's more money for talent for him to have around him. So that's a guard, that's a wide receiver 2, something like that the Giants have that they desperately need to make him better as well.
Or wide receiver 1.
Well, unfortunately, we can't afford a wide receiver. We have to draft wide receiver 1.
Sterling Shepard coming back.
Great story. Actually, I'll get a little shout out on People Review that I think we both like to kind of peruse at times. Great thing on signing wide receivers as free agents and corners as well. It was sort of like saying, like, when's it worth it to pony up? And it was pretty impressive that the answer was almost always no. Like, there was a couple guys who it kind of worked out for, but not really. A couple of trades were big ones. So like A.G. Brown was like a great move, right? That worked out for the Eagles and stuff. But even the wide receivers, obviously Galladay was a disaster for the Giants. But even the guys who were okay, it was like, all right, these guys are right. Like, they kind of had the same production. It's like Darius Slayton, right? Who was, barely made the team and I don't know, got like $3 million or something like that. And these other guys were getting like 12 or 14 and they were still, average 700 yards a year and, 3-4 touchdowns or something like, okay, but nothing earth shattering. So
Got to draft them.
Yeah,
right?
that was it. That was really the sort of takeaway. Reading those two things was the two premier positions, wide receiver and corner. Just draft the holy hell out of them and hope a couple of them hit.
So my pal Peter Clark, Peter was on. He did the draft special with us last year, and he'll be back for the
That's right,
draft again this year.
was great.
And maybe we'll add him into some other things. But Peter had a lot of good insights today. We were texting back and forth, and he's not a Jones fan. He's like, he thinks the Giants are going down his team is the Tennessee Titans, and he thinks the Giants are going down Ryan Tannehill road by signing Jones for what they signed him for. And, he just doesn't like his upside so much. I've been a Jones fan. I was a Jones fan when it wasn't easy to be a Jones fan, I'll tell you. I didn't agree with when they drafted him. I thought they should have just drafted him with the second first round pick that year. They could have gotten themselves a better,
We could have had Haskins, right? That was the easy pick.
No, that was
there was a lot of Giant fans who had taken the Haskins on a heartbeat over Jones.
Yeah,
that was the sexy pick.
No, I didn't. I wasn't a fan. There's only one Ohio State quarterback that you take. That's Joe Burrow. That's it. And now, I'm not talking bad about Haskins because he's not with us anymore. But and that's a shame.
Yeah.
But either way, right? I always felt Jones was just never put in a position to succeed. And then this season, like against a lot of odds, like that team, the personnel on that team was not very good to begin with. And they were ravaged by injuries. And the guy just kept winning games for them. And he was like the reason that they were winning the games. Like, you could talk about Kirk Cousins and stuff like that. Like, the reason why the Vikings were winning those, I call them one-run games. They were one-possession games. Was, Cousins was good, but like, Justin Jefferson. Like, Justin Jefferson was the guy. Like, he was the difference. In the games that he was unstoppable, basically, they just won every single one of them.
Yeah. I mean, look at Jones. Put Jones in the Niners. Put Jones in the Seahawks. Like,
put him on the Jets.
Geno.
Put him on the Jets.
When talking Geno, I'm like, okay, Geno's getting 35. You think Jones isn't worth 40? I mean, it is sort of funny. Everyone's flipping out like if they signed Jones for 38, all of a sudden it'd be magically work, right? Which is like stupidity at some point. It's like someone screaming like they draft him at 10, they should have got him at 16. Really? Like, who cares?
So Peter's point is, if you have a top 10 quarterback, pay him as a top 10 quarterback. But if you don't have a top 10 quarterback, let him go and just keep taking your chances until you can get one, because you'll still be able to pay the rest of the team. And when you pay the rest of the team, it does give you that outlier chance that you could build the rest of the roster enough to overcome it. And it's that, I mean, I actually went and I looked at the last 10 Super Bowl, the last 8 Super Bowl champs, and a top like echelon quarterback won 6 of them. And then there were 2 exceptions. There were 2 times when it didn't happen. One of them was Nick Foles, and the other one, this is caveat, was Peyton Manning. But it was the Bronco at the end, Peyton Manning, who was literally statistically the worst quarterback in the league among starters. And he lost his starting job during that season. And he came back and he was, he was really like it just, I mean, they just needed anybody to stay under center at that point. So you can do it. And now it hasn't happened since the 17 Eagles, but you can do it. And his point is well taken. The other times that the championships were won were like Brady and Mahomes and Matt Stafford. That's pretty much, the way that the other Super Bowls all went over that period. And, maybe you could argue Stafford a little bit, but I think there were a lot of people that would have made the trade that the Rams made for Matt Stafford, because they felt like statistically and as a player, he was always kind of that guy. He just didn't have the right system around him at times. So I also think that if you put Jones on the Jets, that the Jets would have made the playoffs last year for sure. For
Oh,
certain.
absolutely.
I'm certain of it.
Absolutely.
So the other thing is the Ravens give Lamar Jackson the non-exclusive tag. So that's different than what Saquon Barkley got, right?
No, it's the same one.
It is.
Yeah,
So
most
Barkley
of the
got
time when they do it, they give them that one. It's
So-
just that it's a little bit more of tempting for the quarterback, even, and it's still high. I mean, that's the two first rounders you gotta give up. So that's a high bar. You might do it for a quarterback. You'd be insane to do it for a running back.
and you
So,
could still so the player can negotiate with other teams, and then if he signs, you do have like 5 days to
to
match.
match it. Yeah.
And if you don't match, you get the 2 first-round picks.
Correct.
Now, there's a few teams out there that if I saw that Lamar Jackson was out there, yeah, I'm like giving up 2 first-round picks for him in like a second, like. And if I were the Browns now, I'd be just kicking myself in the head, being like, why did we trade for Deshaun Watson when we could have just thrown the kitchen sink at Lamar Jackson, who's better? I'd rather have him on my team.
Even without the issues.
Yeah, I mean, well, maybe, I don't know. I mean, Lamar Jackson, just strikes me as a guy who really wants to win. And will sell himself out to do it. And, but he also wants to get paid. And especially as a quarterback who runs first, but his passing is improving a lot. He's got to do that. Like he's got to get the money. Like he's got to be able to hold out. But like, I'll take Lamar Jackson taking snaps for my team any day of the week. I don't care. Could talk about like, doesn't have the playoff success, this and that. Come on, man. Like it, in
He's
this
a league MVP.
in this day and age, in the MVP, if you don't think that you could win a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson, guess what? Go start watching a different sport, because you're hung up on stuff that is not longer true.
Yeah.
Like that guy is friggin' good. I don't care what you could say his numbers over the last couple of years don't match what he did before that. Come on. You got to look at the whole big picture. That guy is a friggin' football player. He is a football player, and he happens to play quarterback. I want him on my team. And that's a good job by the Ravens. I mean, I think they'll keep negotiating. They do have a history of tagging guys and then eventually signing them to the deals. So I never felt like he was going to walk. I just feel like he's a Raven. I don't know.
One fun stat I saw on the Jones situation. He's the first guy that was 5th-year option turned down by the team and then re-signed with the same team.
Wow.
It's actually pretty amazing. I'm shocked that actually had not happened before. That's an interesting little nugget. So he basically went out and they said prove it, and he said fine.
He bet on himself and he won.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a funny thing, like everyone's flipping out on like, oh, they're overpaying this, that, whatever. And like, we were all singing the praises of Dable and Shane, right? And like their team involved in this and how they turned everything around and how smart they are and stuff. Like, why do you think they're all of a sudden so stupid? That they pay Daniel Jones 40 while, Geno Smith and Derek Carr are getting, 35 and 37 or whatever. Like, really, are they that stupid all of a sudden that they completely blew this up or something like that? It just gets silly. Quick little one on that too with Jones. If for a reason everyone's like, oh, he might be terrible, 4 years, whatever. They could potentially get out in 2 years, which is another wrinkle for the Giants because all the guaranteed money is up front the first 2 years. So they'd have a salary cap hit in year 3 for the prorated bonus. I don't know those numbers yet. But basically you could just pay out that cap hit. And if you decided Jones wasn't the guy that you wanted, or it wasn't what you thought you had last year, you could get back out, which is kind of like, it's almost becoming de rigueur in the quarterback contracts now. Like they do a 4 or 5 year deal, and arguably you can almost say like, the Giants sort of have a call option on Daniel Jones being awesome, right? So if he's like, okay, like, you know what, he's not a $50 million guy in year 3, they can get out. But if he's fantastic and a top 5 quarterback, then they actually have a pretty decent deal on it. So another way to kind of look at it.
Well, you probably tear that deal up and then sign him to a longer deal for more money at that point.
Roll
right?
it forward again, right?
Yeah,
Rather than
roll it
the cap
again.
hit.
You know what, Dawg?
Other one I'll get real quick, if I could.
Yep.
Does Saquon play on the tag? 10 million 1 year. Injury history. Kind of hinted before he wouldn't play on the tag. That's not his sort of personality. But guy who's been banged up, playing arguably below market price. Does he say, I'm not going to play on it and see if I'll get traded to someone who's willing to sign a long term? I think it'll be moot. I think they're going to sign him long term, frankly. I think he'll get a 3-year deal, myself. But if he doesn't, and it comes to June or so, that's an interesting wrinkle. I'm not sure if I'm Saquon, it might actually make some sense to sit out, or at least you would certainly threaten to sit out, because you go and you get one more injury, that's it, and you're kind of done, versus waiting and potentially signing with someone in the offseason for a multi-year deal. How about that?
7 years, 50 million.
Four void years.
Yeah.
Just like the Eagles.
Yeah, 7 years, 50 million. You don't want it? You're gonna make.
I think he would sign that deal. Yeah.
You think he's gonna make 50 million over the rest of his career?
It's basically 3 million for. I would say it's probably well, he's got him for what? Probably 42 over 3 years, right? 14 a year.
Okay, well, if he's going to do that, then you got to.
That's right. And then the extra, he's going to work for free for us.
Yeah.
Personal appearances.
We just can't let him go to the Eagles. That's all. It's just the one place that he can't go. You can't go home, dude. You can't go home. Not going to the Eagles. Jones is interesting to me. The case for Jones is that quarterbacks used to matriculate this way, kind of. And what I mean by that is you didn't expect them, if they were playing in their first year, you didn't really expect anything from them. And then in their second year, they started to get their legs. Or even if you drafted a guy in the first round, he would sit for 3 or 4 years, maybe, right? And then you'd start working him in or whatever. And that, of course, is what happened with Aaron Rodgers. He was behind Brett Favre. Eventually, he took over for Favre. And when he stepped in, he was at an all-pro level pretty much from day one, practically. Now he's the elder statesman with Breeze gone and with Brady gone. And, the Mannings now long gone. So Woody Johnson gets in his electric private jet, which has no footprint, no carbon footprint. He's got to land it every 237 miles to plug it in and recharge it. Yeah, so he's not doing that. So Woody Johnson, the owner of the Jets, gets in his private jet and flies out to Northern California as Rodgers makes his reemergence from the days the days in the dark. And listen, he just goes straight out and says, yeah, we want you to come here. And he seems like he's open to doing it. This is an absolute no-brainer for the Jets. Like an absolute I don't care what you think the guy has left. You have to make this move. If he's available, you have to do it. You even got Sauce Gardner going out on social media saying like, yeah, come here, and like he'll burn the cheese head. Remember Sauce Gardner wore the cheese head after they won in Green Bay. And I'm like, wait, Sauce, make sure you're not one of the ones that's going to get traded for him. No, I don't think he would be. But like, I'll do the Joe Beningo. If you're the Jets and you don't make this move for Aaron Rodgers, okay, then you might as well just hang up the franchise forever. You got to make the move. Like, as long as you get him to agree to go, then the question becomes how much you're willing to give up. And the answer to that is the sort of problem is you kind of have Zach Wilson and you're sort of stuck with him and he's got no value. And the guy was the second pick in the draft, 2 seasons ago. So they already have their quarterback in waiting in Jordan Love. So your sort of chip of saying, okay, take a chance on Zach Wilson as part of it. He's not like the centerpiece of the deal. The picks will be a centerpiece of the deal, but like take your chances on Zach Wilson. That could be a chip. That's not, Zach Wilson's not going in this deal. Like maybe Rodgers being there lets you keep Zach Wilson, and maybe he has an influence on Zach Wilson and eventually makes him into a better quarterback. But you got to come up with the assets to do that. And with the roster that the Jets already have and their position against the salary cap at the moment, I believe it's probably, it'll take away all the rest of their flexibility, but I think they do have the flexibility to actually to make the move. And you have to do it. You have to do it.
I don't know. I mean, I think he's getting close to done. That's just such a Jet move. I mean, like, you just know it's gonna backfire. I mean, I don't know if it's just a Jet curse or whatever, but like, like just look at last year, right? Like, I can't be bothered hanging out, learning with my receivers, et cetera, right? I will guarantee you that cost him that game against the Giants. There's no way in the world the Giants should have beaten the Packers in London. And the Packers were still rusty. Basically, Rodgers was rusty. Nothing clicked until later on in the season, and then they were gangbuster. And the problem is, you get another one of those in New York, media absolutely insane, Benigno going crazy on the fan. I just
coming back to go crazy on the coming out of retirement.
Yeah, that's true.
Dog, the Jets have way better offensive personnel than the Packers. Come on, it's like not even close.
True.
Not even close.
But like, what? All right. So say you make the playoffs, right? You're a much better team. You make the playoffs, and then he hangs it up next year.
No,
right? Now you've given up all the talent.
He's not hanging it up. He's not coming here to play 1 year and hanging it up. No way.
All right. How old is he now?
It's like a young 38.
He is not.
He is. He's 38, I think.
I thought he had a 4 handle.
No, I think he's 38. Wow, something just happened that brightened up Dog's day right there.
I just
did the sun just come out?
Just click on the screen here. It's a very bright screen. Where is this Jets or talk with this?
By the way, Dog, our Devils were losing to the Maple Leafs 2-1 in the third period, and then they scored like 2 goals in under a minute, and now they're leading. Blow Leafs blow.
30. He's 39 now. Probably 40 when the season starts, my guess.
No, really?
Yeah.
He'll be 40 when the season starts.
I'm guessing he's 39 now, so he could potentially be turn sometime. I don't see his birth date. But let's not sweat the months. So he's gonna be rolling after the season. He's gonna have a 4 handle at minimum, if not during the season. So, I don't know. I see that just being a classic Jet move, like 3 years too late and just backfiring horrendously on him. He's going to be a bit of a Fruit Loop too. I mean, he has been a Fruit Loop. He's even more of a Fruit Loop. And I think you put that in New York off to a rough start. Jet fans waiting to go freaking crazy anyway. I don't know. I
gotta say,
I don't see that turns out well. I'm like, I mean, they let Carr go, which was the obvious answer to me, was to sign Carr. They didn't do that, basically hinting they were going to get Rodgers. So I guess at this one, yes, they kind of do have to follow through. I just don't think it's a particularly good move, but it's a classic Jet move. Then maybe it'll work out, but it probably won't.
Dog, these veteran quarterbacks switching teams late in their careers. I mean, it's kind of worked out. Like you talked about the wide receiver cornerback thing. Don't sign them as free agents. This like quarterback Russell Wilson kind of broke the streak, and he still has a chance to recover it because now Sean Payton's his coach. But like
It's worked for Brady.
Worked. I mean, Dawg, that was
Yeah, I mean, what's that? I mean, that was
incredible.
Yeah, so that was. I mean, that totally is a win, right? Manning on the Broncos.
Yeah.
Meh.
What do you mean? He made 2 Super Bowls and he won one of them. How is that mad?
You just said he's the worst guy ever to win the Super Bowl with it.
So was there.
Von Miller won the damn Super Bowl for him.
Okay, but he got him to the other Super Bowl with one of the greatest offensive seasons ever. And then the Seahawks were just a perfect matchup against them.
Okay.
It's
Favre at the end was at least 2 or 3 years too late.
Oh, really? Well, what about the fact that if he doesn't throw that interception, the Vikings make the Super Bowl? That was after he was with the Jets, after his Jet year. And if the Jets make one play, the Jets are in the playoffs and nobody wants to play them. And I covered the Jets during the Favre year. That was a good team. Nobody wanted to play a Favre-led Jet team in the playoffs. I'm telling you right now. They didn't want any part of that. And he was driving that Vikings team, and he got a little too gunslinger for one moment, and that's how they lost. Otherwise, he's in the Super Bowl, and the Saints won that Super Bowl. So how are you going to say that was the team after the team that he got traded to?
All right. We'll see. Color me skeptical.
I think there are even other good recent examples. I got to just think of it. Maybe I should cheat and put the team names in front of me. But let's see. Bills, Dolphins, Pats, Jets, Bengals, Ravens, Steelers, Browns, Jags, Titans, Colts, Texans, Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Broncos, Eagles.
Rams, no.
Boys. Oh, Rams.
Yeah.
Stafford.
Stafford's younger though, right?
He's not that young. He's you know, he is in his up into his 30s. I mean, not in his upper 30s, but into his 30s.
35. That's a big difference. 35 to 39 is a big difference.
Dog, the mileage on Rodgers did not appear to be high. It didn't appear to be like his skill. Peyton Manning, you saw.
That's fair. That is fair, because Stafford had, there was a lot of tread off of Stafford's tires. I mean, he got knocked around for a long time.
And he got knocked around this season. He got knocked around this season.
Yeah,
but you know what? Fair. Last season he stood up, and at the end of it, he stood with a trophy. Yeah. So, I mean, it's probably not fair to go all the way back to Drew Brees. And he was a much younger player, but he did switch teams. So I don't know, Dawg. I kind of think that I think history and, somewhat recent history is kind of on the side of like, you make this move. Like, I mean, look, there is some level where the price just is too much, right? Mm-hmm. That level does exist, but if you're giving up draft capital,
Pack kind of have to make the deal too, which is in plus for the Jets. They're at the stage they want to part ways, so they are a motivated seller. So they're selling as much as the Jets are buying.
Is it a draft capital deal? I think it's mainly a draft capital deal.
It's a draft.
I don't think that
I don't think you need sauce. I don't think you need any of that stuff.
No,
I think it's just. I think
it wouldn't make any sense for the Jets.
It's picks and freeing up money for the Packers.
There might be some kind of players in there, but they're not going to be like.
They won't be the major.
They're not going to. Garrett Wilson's not going to be in there. Breece Hall is not going to be in there. I are any of the linemen going to be in there? I don't know about that. Probably not. But I'm telling you, if you're the Jets, it's just sitting there, and these opportunities don't grow on trees. The Jets remind me a lot of what the Bucs were before they got Brady. They remind me a lot. Now, I'd rather have Bruce Arians than Robert Saleh as my coach. But Saleh, he keeps the guys motivated. He keeps them engaged. He's, probably could use a little help on the game
Yeah.
management side, but that could, that
Had a good year before. Last year, not awful.
Aaron Rodgers can make a lot of that stuff go away, right?
He basically would be the guy, right? Salah
Yeah,
can
I mean,
focus on defense, right?
yeah, and Rodgers could worry about clock management. He does it in his sleep. He's one of the best ever at it, whether you like him or not. As an all-time great, he is, and his clock management is phenomenal. Like you don't see him usually making those kind of mental mistakes. Usually he's getting every last bit out of it. So I think it's like if the Jets don't, and I'm wearing green, but I'm not a Jet fan, but if the Jets don't make that trade, whatever it is, as long as it's not 5 first-round picks or something stupid, like they'd be out of
they just seem doomed no matter what. They're going to get tortured if they do the deal or don't do the deal. Either one seems like it's going to torture them.
As part of the deal, Dawg, as part of the deal is right now on Woody Johnson's plane. Did they fly Joe Namath out there? And did Broadway Joe say, I will unretire 12 so you can wear it? Would that do it?
No, but that actually is an interesting wrinkle.
The greatest Jet, the most
Hall of Famer to a Hall of Famer?
Jet. Broadway Joe is the Jets still. He's still the Jets.
I mean, I'm sure a couple models of Johnny Walker Blue. I think you can roll Broadway Joe with it.
Sure. I don't know. I think Broadway Joe's sober.
Oh, is he sober now?
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know.
No, he might have after the whole sitch. Yeah, that's true. I'm not sure about that though. But
Broadway Joe still phenomenal.
He is.
Anytime you get a chance to hear him on like he jumps on somebody's podcast or whatever, it's like you got
it is must listen. That is true.
He's awesome. He's awesome. His stories are great, and he's a great way of telling it. And the guy's seen everything. And he owned New York. Owned it.
Oh yeah.
Not that many guys do that. So if I was Woody Johnson, I would have picked up Broadway Joe and brought him out there. And Broadway Joe could have said, look, I'm not gonna let you wear my number 12, but you could wear another number. But I'm just coming out here to tell you that the Jets are going to make the Jets are going to make a good play for you, Aaron Rodgers. And Rodgers like, okay, I'll come. I won't wear 12. I'll wear 13. He'd be like, Don Maynard. Have you ever heard of him? Not be wearing 13. Jets. So that would be something, right?
That's yeah, we'll see. We will see. Should hear soon. Was it March 15th, 13th? You can tamper. 15th, I think you can start signing free agents. So another week. So we'll get to everyone gets you have legal tampering on the 13th. You get to start actually legally talking to guys on the 13th and start signing on the 15th. So we will see.
It's going to heat up. Until then, check out Diamond Diehards everywhere on social media. And you could do that by Twitter. You could go on the Facebook group where if you're watching on the live stream now, you're already there. Just hit the subscribe button and become part of the community because we do stuff like this. It's like a hangout, we talk. And there will be more and more guests as we go along. Mike Puma. We've talked about that. He'll be coming on with us in the coming weeks. The great and longtime Mets beat writer for the New York Post. We'll talk some Mets and maybe some Fordham hoop. We didn't even do the whole.
That's true. I forgot about that.
We did a quick hits show tonight. We didn't even get into Fordham hoop. Fordham finally our first
double bye
season since like 91 when we were there. They are the 3rd seed in the Atlantic 10 tournament. So hopefully the next time that we're on, we could talk about the Fordham men's basketball team being back in the NCAA tournament. But until then, you'll just have to deal with what we gave you tonight, or whatever day it is that you're listening. And we're glad that you have been part of the journey with us now and for the future. That is going to do it. Follow the Dawg on Twitter at Jeff Healy 8. And of course, you can follow me, Joe Rizzo, at Diamond Diehards. That's on Twitter and everywhere else. And we want you to interact, hit those subscribe buttons, do all that good stuff, because it is important to us as we try to grow the show and continually make it better for you. We appreciate the support that led up to this, and we look forward to more of it. Our sponsors, go check them out. They are in the description. Gatto Acupuncture in Glen Rock, New Jersey. The Mascolo Group Realtors, FMSgraphics.com, and Big Ed's Car Wash. So go in the description and check them out. You will not be disappointed. And those are more local if you're in the northern New Jersey area, except for FMSgraphics.com. You could hit that anywhere, no matter where you are. All right, that's going to do it for this one. We wrap it up. We did World Baseball Classic previews and a lot of NFL stuff, and we got you ready for the second part of the week and for the middle of March. For the Dawg, Jeff Healy, this is Joe Rizzo. Diamond Diehards is out.